Rob, we've been talking about the NBA playoffs. What a weekend. I really enjoyed the games. Watched just about all of it. And one of the games I was most looking forward to, was the LA Clippers hosting the Dallas Mavericks. You talk about star power. James Harden, Paul George, Russell Westbrook for the Clippers. That's with Kawhi Leonard out. He didn't play. And then Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving for the Mavericks, who have been among the hottest teams in the league over the second half of the season. And Rob, the Clippers put it on them, just dominated them, held them to 8 points in the second quarter, one going away 109-97. It wasn't that close. And James Harden was terrific. Paul George played great in the second half. Slow start, got in a little foul trouble, but was really good in the second half, 22 points. Harden had 28 and 8. And the Clippers up 1-0, Rob, with the game 2, of course, in L.A. as well. And I look, we don't know about Kawhi Leonard. I am skeptical that he will be back this series. And obviously, if the Clippers keep playing well and winning without him, they'll try to rest him as long as they could. Rob.
I would.
What did you make of what we saw from the Clippers over the weekend?
I just thought it was the perfect scenario, Chris, for them to start the playoffs.
Well, you mean without Kawhi?
Yeah. I'm saying, considering that they didn't have him.
Okay.
Like if they struggled in game 1 at home, you know what I mean? Or I just think like, excuse me, and if it's a split or whatever, I could see that easily. Dallas is a good team, so yep. I'm not saying like the Clippers were going to sweep them anyway or anything like that. Chris, it's going to be a series. The last 2 times they played, I think, right? It wasn't both 7 games or 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, but that was,
no, I know it's been a while, but
both teams are a lot different.
I'm just saying, like I don't expect anybody to run away with it. Was my point. But I will say this. If you're the Clippers, and we talk about Ty Lue all the time, I really like him as a coach, and he seems to
Very good coach.
Yeah, he seems to get the put the right people out there, Chris, and get the most out of people. And James Harden's the X factor. Yeah, you don't have Kawhi, but you got 3 potential, or a couple are going to be in the Hall of Fame even without Kawhi, Chris. And James Harden played like a player who is big time in the postseason, came up big. We already know where Westbrook fits in. And Paul George. I mean, I know he's a borderline kind of guy, but there are nights.
He'll probably make it. Yeah.
But you know what I mean. He's not like for sure.
Right.
But he's on the cusp.
Right.
So you got guys right there. There's potentially 3 guys who could be in the Hall of Fame without Kawhi even being a part of it. So I'm not totally shocked. We saw this team, and I know it's different, Chris. But the Clippers, you don't count them out just because Kawhi's not there. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win a championship or get to the finals for sure if Kawhi can't play and be healthy. But I thought that was the perfect way to start. They got a laugh for an easy game for the first game to be able to relax and give people confidence going into game 2 feeling like, you know what, we could still play and the sky's not falling on them.
Rob, you said it. James Harden, X factor.
Yes.
If I could go into every playoff game feeling confident, Harden's going to be Harden. Now, Rob, that doesn't mean every night you get 30 or 25 even. It just means that you're going to be a semblance of the Hall of Fame player you are in the regular season. I can handle an 8 for 20 night. But I can't handle a 2 for 13 night with 7 turnovers.
Nope.
That's what if James Harden is the James Harden of the regular season, Rob, they can beat Dallas even without Kawhi Leonard.
I'm with you on that.
Like you said, they can't win a championship, I don't believe.
No, I think they need Kawhi,
but they can
right.
beat Dallas. And because like you said, you have got 2 stars. I mean, that still are stars in Harden and Paul George if Harden plays his game.
Right.
Then Russell Westbrook has become look, I got to say this. I have so much respect for Russell Westbrook and the way he gave up the ball to James Harden. Now, there's debate, right? Did he voluntarily go to the bench?
Or did they say something? Right.
And then either way, though, Rob, he accepted it. His body language is great. His energy is great. He's not pouting. Rob, it is hard for a superstar to do that. You saw it with Allen Iverson. He couldn't do it in Detroit, couldn't do it in Memphis, couldn't do it back in Philly. And Russell Westbrook, I got to give him credit. And he's a huge part of this team because they need his energy. And he played well off the bench.
They do need his energy, Chris. And the other thing, too, is regardless of how he got there, give Westbrook credit. He was demoralized playing for his hometown Lakers. Chris, ridiculed, Westbrook, everybody, they wanted him gone.
They
Imagine
put it all
that.
on him.
It was all on him
fault.
because they had won a championship without him. They bring him on, and I'm not saying that, Chris, he didn't play poorly. There was a lot of poor play.
Right.
But he got the brunt of it, and he was the one to be made the scapegoat, right? And for him to tuck his tail between his legs, go to because he could have gone to some other teams and go, right?
Got out of, get away from
away from LA. It didn't work out. It's my hometown. I don't want to be dealing with this. I'll just go somewhere else and play out my career. He didn't do it. I give him credit.
Absolutely. I mean, that takes a lot of strength, and I definitely salute him for that. But, Rob, like I said, Harden, here's what I want from him. Don't be tentative. Don't be hesitant. Don't be sloppy. Don't run from the rock. Like, your shot will be on and off. That's just the nature of shooting. But if I can count on him, Rob, to be aggressive, to not run from the ball, to set other guys up, to not make a bunch of turnovers, and not be afraid to shoot. If I can count on all of that, then I feel good if I'm the Clippers. Now, Rob, you remember last year, was it game one against Boston when Embiid was out and he went for 40 or something like that?
Yep.
Harden. So, look, the whole thing about Harden in the playoffs, it's not that he hasn't had fantastic playoff games. He has. But
he's also had the duds.
Yes.
He's had the duds in big
and the
spots.
duds tend to come when it's game 6.
Because even in that one, Chris,
7, key games.
That series, didn't he have a big game? I know I'm going to get the games wrong because I don't have it in front of me.
But he had a couple big games.
He had a big game in game 1, and then I think game 5, if I remember correctly, but then he had bad 6 and 7s. Look at it. Look at the numbers in that series.
Yeah, he
right. Didn't he have was it 4 or 5? He had another big game, but then he had 2 bad games to close out the series.
Yeah, last year in game 7 against Boston, he had 9 points.
Right.
And 5 turnovers, 3 for 11. And then, in fact, those last 3 games. So that was weird, Rob. Game 1, that was no Embiid. 45.
On the road
points.
To win game 1. That was big.
Then goes 12 points. Then 16 points.
Game 4.
Then 42.
There it is, game 4, right?
Game 4, 42 and 9. 42, 9, and 8, in fact.
He had a tremendous game.
Yep. And then 17 and 10. You can take that. But he was only 4 for 8. And then 13 points.
And
5 turnovers and 9 points and 5
That's
turnovers.
what I said. The last 2 games, the 2 biggest games, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. The game 6s, game 7s. And unlike Embiid, I mean, there's no injuries to blame. It seems, it's baffling how, and we don't know this for a fact, but when you just watch him in these bigger games, and you know how great he is, but he comes up small time after time, it's baffling how a guy that's so great, Rob, can apparently get kind of psyched out by the moment. And that's going to be the key for the Clippers in this series. Can you count on James Harden? That's really what it boils down to. Because if they can, you still got the 2 stars. You got Westbrook off the bench, Rob, and you've got they got a deep team.
They do. They have
Zubac is big, and he played tremendously, 20 and 15. So this is a series. But that's the question. Can you count on James Harden?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you have a gut on that?
Chris, I like, and we've seen this team, and we saw when they were all together at one point, they were unstoppable.
Oh, yeah, they were rolling.
But I like the Clippers, and I do believe, Chris, if the players play within their capability, I'm just going to say it, they can make it to the Western Conference Finals without Kawhi Leonard. We saw, and it was a different squad, but Ty Lue and a different squad did it already. You remember the year that they finally made it the first time in the history of the Clippers. Kawhi got hurt and didn't finish the series before that, Chris, and then he didn't play it.
Utah, I believe.
Right. You remember that? And they got to the Western Conference Finals.
Well, look, Rob, if they get past Dallas, then you've got
Chris, the
either
path
OKC
is there. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got OKC or New Orleans, probably OKC.
And they should be able to beat either one of them.
They definitely. I mean, I would if they get past Dallas, I'm favoring them in the next round. I'm just telling you that. Because of the youth.
No matter if Kawhi's playing or not, right?
Yeah, there's no question. Youth versus experience. And so, there's no doubt. I agree with you. I mean, once you look at the bracket and understand the route, now, if they were on the other side, you had Minnesota or Phoenix, that still is possible, right? But, those teams aren't as inexperienced as OKC or New Orleans. So, yeah, it's there for them. And if they're smart, they're talking about that, Rob, and saying, look, we got a shot with or without Kawhi. Let's go get it done.